Question. What is Mendel's law of segregation? Option 1. Mendel's law of segregation explains how genes are expressed in phenotypes. Option 2. Mendel's law of segregation states that traits are inherited together. Option 3. Mendel's law of segregation describes how alleles separate during gamete formation. Option 4. Mendel's law of segregation indicates that all alleles are dominant. Question. Define homozygous and heterozygous genotypes. Option 1. Homozygous. 1 identical allele, heterozygous. 1 different allele. Option 2. Homozygous. 2 different alleles, heterozygous. 2 identical alleles. Option 3. Homozygous. 3 identical alleles, heterozygous. 2 identical alleles. Option 4. Homozygous. 2 identical alleles, heterozygous. 2. Question. What is the phenotypic ratio in a monohybrid cross? Option 1 2. 1. Option 2 1. 1. Option 3 4. 1. Option 4 3. 1. Question. Explain the concept of dominant and recessive alleles. Option 1. Dominant alleles mask the effects of recessive alleles. Recessive alleles express traits only when homozygous. Option 2. Recessive alleles can never be expressed in any condition. Option 3. Both dominant and recessive alleles are equally expressed in heterozygous conditions. Option 4. Dominant alleles are always expressed regardless of genotype. Question. What is a Punnett square and how is it used? Option 1. A Punnett square is a tool used to predict the genetic makeup of offspring from 2 parent organisms. Option 2. A Punnett square is used to measure the height of plants. Option 3. A Punnett square is a method for cloning organisms. Option 4. A Punnett square is a diagram for tracking animal migrations. Question. Describe the law of independent assortment. Option 1. The law of independent assortment states that all genes are inherited together. Option 2. The law of independent assortment describes how different genes independently separate from one another when reproductive cells develop. Option 3. The law of independent assortment applies only to dominant traits. Option 4. The law of independent assortment explains how traits are blended in offspring. Question. What is the significance of Mendel's pea plant experiments? Option 1. Mendel's experiments laid the groundwork for modern genetics by demonstrating how traits are inherited through discrete units, genes. Option 2. Mendel's findings were primarily about the color of pea plants and had no relevance to genetics. Option 3. Mendel's experiments proved that all traits are inherited equally from both parents. Option 4. Mendel's work focused solely on the environmental impact on plant growth. Question. How do you determine the genotype of an organism exhibiting a dominant phenotype? Option 1. Cross with another dominant phenotype individual. Option 2. Use molecular sequencing to determine the phenotype. Option 3. Analyze the organism's physical traits only. Option 4. Perform a test cross with a homozygous recessive individual. Question. What is incomplete dominance? Provide an example. Option 1. An example of incomplete dominance is the height of pea plants, where tall, TT, and short, TT, plants produce only tall offspring, TT. Option 2. An example of incomplete dominance is the flower color in snapdragons, where crossing a red flower, railroad, with a white flower, WW, produces pink flowers, RW. Option 3. An example of incomplete dominance is the color of corn kernels, where yellow, YY, and blue, BB, produce only yellow kernels, IB. Option 4. Incomplete dominance occurs when one allele completely masks the effect of another allele, such as in blood type inheritance. Question. Explain codominance and give an example. Option 1. An example of codominance is the AB blood type in humans, where both A and B alleles are expressed equally. Option 2. An example of codominance is when one allele completely masks the other in a phenotype. Option 3. An example of codominance is the expression of only the A allele in the blood type A. Option 4. An example of codominance is the O blood type in humans, where neither allele is expressed. Question. What are sex-linked traits? Provide an example. Option 1. Color blindness is a trait that affects only females. Option 2. An example of a sex-linked trait is height, which is equally common in both genders. Option 3. An example of a sex-linked trait is intelligence, which varies among individuals. Option 4. An example of a sex-linked trait is color blindness, which is more common in males. Question. How can environmental factors influence gene expression? Option 1. Environmental factors can influence gene expression by affecting transcription factors and signaling pathways that regulate gene activity. Option 2. Environmental factors only affect physical traits, not gene activity. Option 3. Environmental factors have no impact on gene expression. Option 4. Gene expression is solely determined by genetic makeup. Question. What is a test cross and when is it used? Option 1. A test cross is used to create genetically modified organisms by crossing two heterozygous individuals. Option 2. A test cross is used to determine the phenotype of an individual by crossing it with a homozygous dominant individual. Option 3. A test cross is a method to identify the dominant traits in a population without crossing any individuals. Option 4. A test cross is used to determine the genotype of an individual by crossing it with a homozygous recessive individual. Question. Describe the difference between genotype and phenotype. Option 1. Genotype is the result of environmental factors, while phenotype is the inherited traits. Option 2. Genotype refers to the physical appearance, while phenotype is the genetic makeup. Option 3. Genotype is the genetic constitution, while phenotype is the expressed traits. Option 4. Genotype is the observable characteristics, while phenotype is the underlying DNA sequence. Question. What role do alleles play in inheritance? Option 1. Alleles have no impact on the genetic makeup of offspring. Option 2. Alleles are responsible for the physical environment of an organism. Option 3. Alleles are only found in dominant traits. Option 4. Alleles determine the genetic traits inherited from parents to offspring.